Okay, so I thought I'd talk to you guys today about my feature film called Save Jane. It's on Amazon Prime, Amazon UK. I did a talk about my film at the Birmingham Photography Show, how I shot it for £7,000, 7 people in 7 days, but I realized people from the UK didn't go to that, don't know any information about it, and it wasn't streamed or anything online, so I thought I'll make this video for you guys here. Lots to go through, so I'm trying to not make it as boring as possible and just give you the information without going too over the top. I realized feature films, it's a pain in the ass, it's hard to do. People that can't afford it but want to still do it, hopefully this video will help you out a little bit. I shot it in 7 days for £7,000 and a crew of 7 people, which is the actors as well. So the crew was me and my other half when she could help out. So it was very tiresome to shoot and get everything done. As you know, the budget was super tight. I had to do my own sound on the film, and the only day I used a sound guy was in the hospital scenes. I don't recommend people do sound themselves, but like I said, I'm broke as hell and I have to do everything as best as I can on the budget that I have. And if I keep hiring sound people, no offense to sound people, their job is way better than mine, then I could do it. But if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. And this day and age, tech is so good with what you can do with lav mics and things like that. Yes, it's not the same, I realize that, but you either sit down and do nothing or you just bust your ass and work with what you got. So I only hired a sound guy for the hospital scene, and the main reason was in the hospital, some of the levels were quite low down, and we all know some lav mics suffer for communication and interference and things like that. And I had the most actors that day because I had the doctors, the nurses, and the actors, and I was moving with gimbals and stuff like that. So I had a sound guy for that to make sure all that got nailed, because I didn't want to risk anything, because the freaking hospital location was $3.5 grand higher for just a 1 day. So that killed me, but you're not faking that, and I don't want any green screen with hospitals and stuff, so I wanted the real thing, which I was lucky to find, especially in Bristol. The ones I was finding, I'm babbling. So everything else was all done by me, lav mics. And when you do that with 5:1 and you push it right in the center and you make sure you got no, rufflage and things like that, and you use the right mic setup, you can really do wonders. Like, yes, it's not going to be as good as a boom operator, but if you can do that, like I said, and keep your budgets low and just push yourself out there as a filmmaker, what your style is, what you're producing, fingers crossed it hasn't worked for me, it will push you further in your career. So that's what I did for that sound. So yeah, when you watch the film, don't sit there and nitpick it and go, oh, I can tell that's a lav mic and that's a boom. Hospital scenes, boom. Everything else, all lavs. Besides when I do pickups, like if I'm shutting the car door, I'll get a boom to pick up the mic afterwards, and feet ruffling, the usual kind of, ADR and pickups like that. So the other location, I had the hospital booked and I had a house booked, and I was gonna arrive to the house, do up the house, do everything I needed to do it, and the house was like $2.5 grand, and I was just losing money left, right, and center because extra things were coming up, like other locations, and I realized if I did the house scene and I don't get what I need to get, I have to pay another $2.5 for the house, and it was just stressing me out. I wasn't sleeping. So I thought, you know what? I'll shoot it in my house, which I did not want to do because I don't necessarily love the house that I'm in. It's just a rental. But I thought, you know what? I can push it as many days as I can, and even if I got the actors here and say we're on the last day and I don't get it done, I know I can come back here and I know I can do it again and get it the way I want. It was weird. It was easier but more stressful, because when you finished the day there was kind of no time out, because when you were done it was just filled with gear and lights and tape and all crap everywhere. So it was easier but stressful, and it wasn't nice to my other half because, we're doing all this stuff in here. But it was good because when the actors got here from their side of things, they got here and it was, besides going from scene to scene, when they got here it was all set up, ready to go. And if I was an actor, I would like to show up and just bam, just do your thing. So I tried my best to do that with them, to make sure they were always working rather than sat and things like that. The makeup artist was phenomenal, which was a tricky thing to do because I was showing her references of what I wanted and what I wanted to achieve out of it. So you can feel like the differences that Eve was going through in the film. Makeup took a while, but for that type of thing, there's nothing you can do about it, but she was still pretty quick, and everything was, I don't think I had to tell her to change anything once. Every time I mentioned something, it was just spot on, looked amazing. I love the red Komodo, I love the red image, and that's what I shot it on, and I love the fact you can pull focus with the app. You are shooting a scene in the fridge, and with the beauty of the red, I can pull focus from the app, and there is the red. With the newer lenses, like the Sigma ones, I didn't get any troubles like pulling focus or it like racking back to a weird setting. Any older lenses, I also have an old model of the 28mm from Sigma that struggles a bit, but the newer ones like the Art series, they're completely fine, as I'd imagine other lenses are really good on this camera. Most of the time with the film, I lit pretty naturalistic, besides when I wanted to dramatize what she was going through. As you can see here, I'm sure other people know how to do this trick, but if you get a mirror, I highly recommend cling film or something on top of it. If you get a mirror and then you get some water and you place some water on top of the cling film on the mirror, and then hard light works best. So if you got like a hard light, even something as affordable as the 120D from Aputure or something smaller, just bang some hard light in that, and then just move it around until you get the shape that you want on the wall. And then when you get it on the wall, it looks like you got raindrops coming from the window somewhere, which you could fake easy, because if you're doing a location and you don't show a certain window, people don't know where the window is, so you can just point it to an area that you want them to think where there's a window coming in and splash it on the wall. And to get it to move, you just need a little fan, so just point the fan on it. For actor wise, it's kind of annoying, like unless you got money and you got a cool setup and you can do it outside, do that. But if you're low budget like me, that way works perfectly fine. It's just a little bit tough for actors and camera setups because it takes up a lot of space in the area. So just beware of that and beware of leakage afterwards. Watch your wires. I shot in the summertime, so nightmare. So anytime you wanted it dark outside, you're literally waiting until 11 o'clock at night. That was very frustrating. There's a scene in the kitchen and we weren't shooting at night because we couldn't wait till 11 every time, and we had some night scenes to shoot in the car, which I don't have any behind the scenes of that. I had to do car mounts on the car, and that was annoying because none of them could drive, so to do those scenes was very stressful. So I threw L plates on everywhere, hazards, chose quiet streets. It was a bit scary, but I won't go into that too much. But anyways, the kitchen scene, I wanted it to look dark and nighttime, and it doesn't matter how much ND you have on there, you're not going to get it to look like night. So I had to buy sheets of ND for the window. I think I had a 1.2, and I might have bought two 1.2s and stacked them, or it was a 1.2 and a 0.6, and I gelled the window out, pulled the blinds down, and then just lit it dark in the kitchen. So I have baby monitor footage, which is actually from a friend of my other half's, and I had to edit that footage for the hospital scene and put it in the computer and make sure it worked for the scan and stuff. But at home, there's a scene where she's looking at the baby monitor footage, and iPhones are bright, but they're still not bright enough when you're doing certain camera work. So what I had to do was, when she had the phone, I'll put behind the scenes over the top, when she had the phone in front of her face, she's looking at the baby monitor footage, but it wasn't quite bright enough. So I was thinking, how am I going to do this? Because I can't just put a light in front of it, because you can tell that it's just a still light. It's not matching the movement of the baby scan. And because Aputure have this crazy cool light, what you're able to do is just insanity. So how you can record a moving image and color on this light. So I basically opened up my baby scan footage. I pointed the light at the footage as best as I could to get the color and the movement of that. And then that way, when I put the light in front of her phone, shot it a certain way so you can't see, it looks like that screen is bright enough to get that reflection and movement on her face. So that was amazing to have, and the fact that I could control it off camera when I wanted to stop start, it was just really amazing. If you don't know how to do that, I'll go over that right now. Okay, so just turn on the light. So once in the app, select the MC Light that you have, go to Effect, and then you want to pick her effects. And then see how it gives you like a screen to record. So there's my baby scan footage here. The Aputure light is there. You don't do anything with the actual light. You just use the app within the app. And then you hit spacebar, or you play, whatever you want to do. So the footage is playing. You record their motion. Obviously, better expose it and things like that. I'm just doing it for a quick example. And then when you push play, your Aputure light is doing the same motion as that baby scan footage. Okay, so say once you close the app and the light has disappeared or whatever, and you want to use it on set, and you didn't obviously just record it, you want to find out where it is. It's just down here in this kind of like stored button. You just click in there. I'm assuming mine is 3 because it's the latest one on there. That's the one that's stored. So there's the light doing its thing. And then that's what's amazing is that if the output's too much, just dial the output down, change the speed, randomize it, flip it, whatever. And I use the soft diffusion thing on it, which you saw in the behind the scenes. And that's just amazing to have to that option, like I said. So surprisingly, editing wise, my 27-inch iMac 2015, kind of spec'd out, but nothing too crazy. And on Adobe Premiere Pro, all with the raw red files, 6K footage, and the film in total filled up 4 terabytes of footage. I use G drives. I just love the G drives setup. And everything was going really, really smooth. No problems whatsoever. The film, I'm very fast when I work, so the film was done the next day, possibly the night of the last day that we shot. And everything was going smooth, but when I opened up the project, if shutting it down, if I had to work with clients in between time, it was taking, like something was seriously wrong. It was taking about 2 hours to open up the project for the files to fully load. I know. To fully load so I can read them. And I knew something was wrong. I was thinking, I know my computer's old. I know the footage is a lot, but there's no way it could be this slow. So I went around and I was second guessing myself with everything. I was thinking maybe it's the computer, but before I go out and buy a new computer, maybe it's the drive. So because they're spinning disk drives, USB-C, I thought let's try and get 4 terabyte Thunderbolt drives. Let's see if those work. So I bought some of those. I think it took a day to transfer all the 4 terabytes onto the other drive to see if it would work. I'm quite an impatient person, so just that alone was doing my head in. So I did all that, and then it was exactly the same. So I quickly wiped the drive and got my refund back on the drives because it didn't do any different. So I was at the Apple store, I was talking to a bunch of people. I was talking to a bunch of people online. I tried the whole thing where you import everything you have into another sequence just in case something in that sequence was messed up in the timeline of Premiere Pro. That didn't do anything. And then I was just really losing my mind. I just wanted to smash everything. And then on the Red Komodo forum site on Facebook, group, sorry, some guy said, I know you tried the sequence thing, but try the project. So open up a new project and just literally throw your whole project in that project. And I did that, and in seconds, everything loaded, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I just want to hug this guy, kiss this guy, do whatever, because this just made my day so much less stressful. So yeah, so when I shut down the computer or the file, it wouldn't take as long to open up. I think it was like, I don't know, 20 minutes because there was a lot of files. Well, not even that, it was pretty quick. And even skimming through the footage was fine. Now my computer's dying because I think with that film I just pushed it too much. So I'm getting a new computer soon. But for those wondering, it's definitely capable. And I surprised myself. Even the people in the Apple store saying, I'm surprised the computer didn't blow up. And yes, the fans turned on like crazy when I was exporting it. Oh, export times was quite long. I think it was about 4 hours for a film that was just over an hour. So yeah, pretty crazy. I shot a bunch of short films and I entered film festivals like anyone does, and I won quite a few awards for different films. So Rusty, I won a bunch of awards. For Foam, I won a bunch of awards. And what I thought, I guess I was naive, maybe like other filmmakers, what I thought was going to happen was because I was winning these awards, I thought when I approach agents and managers and other things, they're all just gonna be like, oh my God, you're so good, look at these awards. Like, hell yeah, we're gonna, you know, go further and push your career and do this. But literally no one cares. So it's a bit of a pain in the heart, I guess, but I can either sit back and whine about it and do nothing, or just keep going. But the plan was, when I won the awards, I thought I would get some kind of help, or at least a manager, if you know what I mean, just to push further. So when you do spend money on a feature, you at least got someone there helping you, pushing your name out there to different avenues that you can't reach yourself. So I'm still not there yet, but like I said, I either sit back and whine about it, or just keep working hard and keep doing what I'm doing. So I saved up, I sold a lot of gear that I used to use for corporate work. Now this is me being a bit of a bitter person, I guess. I was just sick and tired of shooting a bunch of corporate stuff and going nowhere, and the hustle of it. And when you get back, you got nothing to show. One, because the type of corporate work that I'm doing isn't the type of corporate work you share. Mainly talking heads, things like that. And I'm just thinking, you know, what am I doing in my life? So I've always loved narrative, and I just need to keep pushing for that. And no one's gonna come and, you know, here you go, here's all the stuff you can do to go be a filmmaker. So I thought, you know what, I bought so much gear for corporate work. I shot myself in the foot because I've lost a lot of clients because of this, but I just sold most of that gear, put it into this film, because I want to be known as a filmmaker and keep making films. And it's incredibly hard to do, incredibly expensive, even though £7,000 isn't a lot. For me, it's still a lot, and that's £7,000 you're not getting back. So it's tough to swallow, but I just love doing it, and I love making films, and I love watching films, I love watching shows. So it's what I want to do. I have lost my train of thought. What am I talking about? Okay, so yeah, going from shorts to that, thinking I would get. So yeah, I just had to dive in, get it out there, and see what's happened. I went to bigger distribution companies first. Obviously, most of them are going to say no because they don't know who you are, the budget. Most of it's to do with actors, you know, who's a known actor. I nearly had a big, not a big star, but a big person in the film that I emailed before the person I got in it. Nothing to do with talent or who's better, because everyone's good, especially the person that is in the film, Eve Gordon. But basically, I have to think like a businessman. So I was first of all trying to get someone known to be in the film. I won't tell you who it was, but she was big on Netflix, and I was talking to her manager and agent, and I nearly had her in the film. The toughest part about it was her schedule was just insane, because it's going to be, first she was in Australia, then she's going to America, then she was going to Canada, and then she would come back. And I think that was like a year, maybe a year and a half later, I have to push the film back. And to be able to afford her, I would have to sell the Komodo and a bunch of other stuff, which I was thinking, you know, at the time I'll do it, and I'll just hire what I shoot on to shoot it, because I'll have a certain star in it. But then I just thought, you know what? I also can't think that way, because then I'm kind of stabbing myself in the back, because if I don't push unknown actors into my films and only get known actors, that's the same situation I'm in as a filmmaker. People aren't going to push me forward because, like, I don't know who he is or who's his agent and all that crap. So if I think that way, I'm no better than them. So I thought, you know what, I'll get the people I know I can trust, people that I know I can afford. Yes, there's no name, but I'll just push as best as I can. And then I did it that way. But obviously, like I said, because I did it that way, you're not getting the big distribution dogs to push you forward and take your film. So I tried as best as I can. I was looking at the usual, like, acquisition companies and the people that self-distribution as well. But what I did is I pushed my hardest to try and get it on Amazon myself. And then for all the other, platforms, I would go elsewhere. So I thought, if I could do Amazon myself, I have 100% control of that. And then I know how to promote that. I know how much money I'm putting in with that. And I'll just do it that way. And the tricky part, this video is going to be very long, I'm so sorry. So the tricky part about that is, when I first pitched and uploaded to Amazon, they denied it. and they just said no. So I was like, crap, what am I gonna do now? So I thought maybe it was an error on my behalf. So I tried little tricks of what I was doing with the film, and this probably didn't work, but it's just something to take note of. The font for Save Jane is the same font Amazon use for Amazon stuff. So I used Amazon's font, nice and big and bold on the front. I'm not selling out or giving in to them. I just thought my font's pretty plain anyways. I'll just use the Amazon font and push that out. And if I'm only advertising on Amazon, it might, if I'm only delivering to Amazon, it might do better because they know they're the only ones getting it. It's not on a bunch of other platforms with cheaper prices and things like that. So I did that, and then they accepted it, and I waited for it to upload, and then I was like, oh my God, they accepted it. And the plan was, I chose a date, I think it was like, I can't remember what I did. I think it was like 3 months in advance that it was gonna come out. So it gave me enough time to push promotion, advertisements, things like that. And then as I was sat there thinking that, I was like, crap, what if, because Amazon, they change their mind, you know, every day about who's allowed to put their stuff on their platform. So I thought, crap, I'll just put it on next Friday, change the date, because if I spend all this money on advertisement 3 or 4 months down the road, and then they're like, you know what, we don't want his film, just take it down. I spent £1,000 more on advertisements to a dead link. Do you know what I mean? So I put it out the following Friday, I changed everything, and then I just thought I'll just keep pushing advertisements afterwards. So in total, the film cost $7 grand, but for advertisements, entering film festivals, all that stuff, badges, flyers, I think everything came to about a total of £10,000. So still fairly affordable, but all I can say is this, if you have friends that are actors and you film, or vice versa, if you're an actor and you have a friend that films, and you know you have good content, and you know when you get together, you can make something great. I wish I had it, because I would love to have it. Try and shoot stuff for free together. I know that sounds really nasty and just not fair, and especially right now, everyone's struggling for money. But if you can push out good content and then try and make your money back on other platforms, whether it's renting or people buying, or you're good at the crowdfunding thing, just really link together and do that. I mean, I would love to have that, because I'll be kicking out films and shows as fast as I write music, because I could just do music here. You know, I sing, I write, I do the music, and I just kick out songs. But because I don't have that in my community of people, I'm not saying it's bad, they like to get paid, and people need to eat, people need to pay bills. But if you have that where you can team up, just do it, man. Just work your ass off and just team up and make your own thing, because you could probably get so far in pitching if you know the right people and avenues and networks and things like that. I would recommend doing that, and then you're not spending money like me, like £7,000, £10,000 for a film. You're probably only paying for locations. So yeah, try that. I finished writing a show that I want to shoot. To shoot it my way, I can't, because I just can't afford it. The plan of it is in Vegas, and I can't afford actors and flights and things like that. So I rewrote it a little bit to kind of be here, which I still can't afford to shoot. So if I can shoot it, I'll do my best to shoot the pilot and maybe the second episode. And my hopes is to get someone to pick it up, even if they just take it from me and they're just like, well, we're doing it our way, thank you for coming up with the idea, and they pay you off. That's fine, just to get my name out there that way and work, but I would obviously like to do it myself. Plan on shooting it anamorphic with the Vazen lenses. I'm going to be shooting 6K, 1.8 times, but I'll be delivering it 2:1, because I just love that look. I've always loved that look. I know people are like, oh my God, you're throwing away information. It's just what I like. For a show, it just has that grittiness. It has that thing that's something wrong that the average viewer doesn't know, but it just looks beautiful. It just, I can't describe it. It's just, I love it. Anyways, the plan for that is to do that, and then if I can do it myself, I can get it on a platform where people rent it and buy, and then allow me to afford to shoot more episodes of what I'm doing. So if you dig what I'm doing, please go watch Save Jane on Amazon. help support me anyway with any links that I have on my Instagram. I'm not a person that likes asking for money, and that's the reason why I didn't do, I can't think of the name of those things because I just avoid them, where you GoFundMe and all that stuff. The reason why I didn't do that to get Save Jane made, and what I'm trying to do now, is there's nothing wrong with it. Like, people that do it and they get away with it, that's amazing, you know, all the best to them. But I just find it weird that if it's something you're so passionate about, why wouldn't I scrape together to try and afford it myself? Like, I love what I do and I love my film, give me money to film it. I don't know, it just seems weird to me. I probably seem like an asshole for saying that, but I just think if you love something, you'll figure out some frickin' way, which is impossible when things cost so much money. But for now, I think that's it. Oh, if you like music, rock music, alternative music, whatever the hell you want to call it, check out my band, which is just me, called Filthy Soup. Check it out on Spotify, Apple Music. And I also write all the music for Save Jane and feature films and things like that. I'm babbling too much again. I'm sorry. Thank you again, and I'll check you guys soon.